Hello, everyone. My name is Carmen Jimenez-Pride. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and registered play therapist. You might know me with as Play Therapy with Carmen, and I'm excited to be here with one of my co-authors, contributors of Increasing Your Play Therapy Toolbox. Everybody, you already know her because she's great. Meet Sabra.
Hey, hi everyone. Well, first, Carmen, you're amazing, and I'm just so glad that we are connected, and I know you and all the amazing things that you're doing in the world of play therapy. Hi, I'm Sabra Starnes. I am a clinical social worker. I'm licensed in Maryland and DC, and I'm a registered play therapist supervisor. And I love doing play therapy. I love doing sand tray. Love working with my clients, getting on the floor and just having fun, and then also enjoy doing webinars and workshops to help people grow their skills in doing play therapy and expressive therapy techniques.
Thank you, Sabra. So the purpose of this live webinar is to introduce one of the activities from the Increasing Your Play Therapy Toolbox. And Sabra, of course, is one of the contributors, and she's going to talk about the activity that she's going to be teaching tonight.
Great. Well, I'm excited. So wanted to share just a little bit about when creating this activity for play therapists, for therapists to use in sessions so I'm going to grab the book so it's using the book, The Invisible String.
So a quick disclaimer, there is a hardcover and then there's a soft cover. So don't be alarmed if your books look different.
Yes, and I was asking earlier about what's the difference, and I think yours, Carmen, is an updated version, and so I think they're both the same story. So the Invisible String book is a book I've been using for years with clients, helping around transitions, loss and grief, clients who maybe have parents who are going through separation. It's really a great book to help clients. It's your clients from 3 to 100. Really process and work through a hard situation that may have a feeling of uncertainty, worry, fear, anxiousness, and having the book that has in the book, the parents really helping the child to kind of normalize their feelings. So when I thought about creating an activity that would connect to a book that I really loved, and I loved using a bibliotherapy book in session, and I love incorporating it with a play therapy activity, was where I came up with the title, the String of Hearts. And where the String of Hearts activity is really, and it's easy, which I like sometimes too in a session, you want to have something that's not so complicated to put together, but it gives you time to pause and stop with your client, if it's individual or family, and talk about a little bit more about maybe their story. As you're reading the story, it gives you room to pause and say, what are you thinking? What do you feel? Have you ever felt that way? Or how do you think what's going to happen next? So giving a way to kind of have some interaction. And then also I like to have paper, markers, arts, crafts right around. So this was an activity that you can have, and it's really easy, but you want to have some of your materials with you. So for the activity, you want to have the materials that you'll need is string, and it can be any color string. That doesn't have to matter. And I would say don't cut the string before you start the activity. So you want to let the client choose how much they want to select. And then having colored construction paper, having a variety of different colors, having markers, pencils, crayons, just a lot of different sensory tools for your clients to decide what they want to use. They might want to write words, or they might want to write pictures in using this activity. So you want to have a variety of things, and just maybe you have an area that's your art area that you could do this in. And then you need some scissors and you need markers. So those are just, so again, it's really simple, really easy to have. And so next, I'm going to grab a book and go over some more in detail about the book. So again, you're going to use them. We've got the material. So the goal of this activity is to help clients express their feelings of sadness, fear, worry, loss, and grief around a person who's no longer in their lives due to death, separation, foster care, adoption, or again, as we're in this state where we are right now in life, it may be due to not being able to see grandma, not being able to see my best friend that lives around the corner, not being at my school, not seeing my teacher. So this is a way you can really help a client to kind of express and figure out some things that they're missing, some people that are missing, things that they're missing, and there might be a lot of different things. So I would say you would first want to start with feelings, figuring out what are some of the feelings that the client is having, so that you can use that as your way in to help them in creating the activity.
So it
Then,
sounds like this activity can be used with a variety of ages.
yes,
Like littles up to teenagers and maybe even some adults, right?
mm-hmm. Right, definitely. And this is an activity that you could do with an individual client. You could do this with a group, and you could do this with a family. So it's definitely it's a one I would say I've done it with variety of at different ages, and being able to do this activity, which is nice. So then there's just a few steps that you would do for this activity. The first is you would have either the adult that's in the room, and that might be the caregiver, that might be the aunt, the uncle, might be an older adult sibling, someone else to read the story besides the client, or it might, or else if it's just you in the room, you would read the book. And I just want to kind of pause again, show you so you would want to read the book not so much as you would with maybe making sure that they can see the page. I'm going to kind of move this over, making sure that they can see the book of the color of the picture in the book, and then pausing along the way as you read the story and kind of holding the book down, setting it down, but just getting a chance to really connect in with your client as you're reading it. So it's one of the books I would say you may or may not get through the whole book in a session, but it's something you could do, maybe over a few sessions in creating the activity because of the book. Some clients you want to find their capacity for a whole story, they're just may not be okay. You might need to take it, come back to it, put a Post-it on it, and come back to it. So
right.
So you're going to read the story, and then I also like to jump in and say this too. That some clients you may have clients who really, really love to read, and they're at a time and they're learning where they want to read everything. And so I think you want to just kind of be flexible, but you also don't want to make the client feel overwhelmed or get frustrated if there's words they can't read. So one of the things I maybe say, oh, you know what? How about I read, and if you can turn the page. And then and then I'll remind them. And remember, at the end, you get to choose we have this activity. You get to choose the paper you want to use. You get to choose your markers. So really let them see that they can be part of decision-making in the activity. And again, as we want to make sure with our clients, we give them that feeling of making some decisions about themselves. So during the story, you stop and you have a brief discussion, and that might be several different stops that you would make with the client to make the story relevant to what they're dealing with. So this is again where when you had that initial check-in about their feelings, about maybe what they're something that's making them feel sad or that worrying about. This is then where you can kind of connect that back in as you're going through the story, so that the clients can see themselves in the book, so they can kind of make it feel like, oh, somebody else has is in the story a hard time when it starts thundering. So you can kind of let a client say, oh, I'm not alone in that. And you could even say, yeah, I get kind of scared when it's thunder. So you, again, gives you some room of building that therapeutic relationship in some fun ways. Then the next step 2 is after reading the story, have the family draw and cut out hearts. So you're going to make and have the client to draw hearts, and they can be a variety of different shapes and sizes. And if a client, what I also have is I have some pre-made hearts, and I keep them kind of in a baggie nearby, just in case a client decides they don't want to cut them out, or we kind of maybe, let them know if you just have those available. Maybe your time might be even of the essence. But I really want clients, again, to make their own hearts that they like. So after they've created the hearts, and they can select as many as they want. again, this is where it's important, as as play therapists, we've got to be on the watching the time. So if a client decides they want to make 20, that's okay. But we also will say, well, these are ones that you can take home, and maybe could you select 4 hearts that you can make, and we'll put the string together with it here. So again, along the way, noticing where things are in the session, but keeping the activity going. So once you've cut them out, you're going to then have the client select, you're going to have them get the string, have them select, can you get, so after we read the story about the invisible string, we got to see that we each have an invisible string.
Oh,
So we're like, woo! So the kid like, so you have an invisible string and I have one. And so today you're going to make one. This string is yours, and this is your invisible string that you get to take home with you, that you get to remember. And even, are you ready for this? Got to come a little closer. Even if you don't have your string, let's say you leave it at home, when you go to the grocery store, when you go back to school, you can always remember that you have that string. And the string, what's really going to be really special is it's going to have hearts on it that are going to be for people that you love, that you're missing, that you're thinking of. It could be your toys that you're missing, your friends, something at school, whatever it is that you are missing in your heart. And this would be where, again, I might have a client, we might do a quick check-in about our heart and talk, or maybe put their hands on their heart and say, our heart is so full, it has room to love everyone. So I've had some kids who say, I don't know if I have enough room to love so-and-so, or is my heart big? And I'm like, yeah, your heart is big enough to love everyone, even someone who's still here, and then maybe someone who's not. So kids can see that this heart that we have, that's so much about how we love and are, is it's huge. And so it helps kids to like, oh, so if I don't pick my grandma, we have to worry about not putting someone on a heart. So after you've kind of done some discussion, and that could really speak from when you think about love and connection, talk about that with your client. And then you would then help the client decide who they want to put on the hearts that have been cut out. And this, again, is where clients may want to write name. They might want to write a picture. They might want to make a picture of the person. They might want to write their name. Might want to check in, say, can I help you? If you need me to write, I got you, but you look like you're doing great. So again, I would want to put out to a child that they're not in this alone when they're doing the work, that this isn't school. I don't want them to feel like it's an assignment. I want them to make it fun, and I want them to know that we're doing this together if they want me to. So then what you're going to do after they've selected their hearts, you want to then make a hole in the heart. You can also, I found, you can use some scissors and poke a little hole and help the client. And then they're going to just make a thread through each of the different hearts that they have selected and used. And so that you're then giving them a string of hearts that they can take with them. Mm-hmm. At the end of the session, the client takes their activity home. If they've done an individual session, this is something that they can take home and share and tell. And maybe before they go, you can ask. I always like to get children's okay. What would you like to share about the session? Is there a heart that you want to share and tell about why you selected that heart? So then I have in the book, I have a few discussion questions that you can ask your clients. And I gave you, definitely you can add on to these. So it's, I think, great within the initial activity to do with a family or client or an individual. You want to talk about how the client feels supported, who are the people that they feel loved, who do they love. So having this can be around where they might do, again, a drawing, or maybe it's something you've talked about before, so you can kind of bring back up. Remember when you shared last week about how sad you are, that you feel like it's going to be a long time until you get to see your friends at school, and, kind of do some reflective responding to that and tracking. And I would say is just to kind of use what your skills of thinking, what else might I want to ask, but you wouldn't want to make too many questions. Maybe think of a couple follow-up questions, or even go back to the book and connect into the book with some things that maybe you could talk to the client about. So this is where I would say you want to make it as you can make it a personal connection for the client so they can use, and then it's something that I've also taken a picture of their string of art. So I've had it to show again, and maybe the next session or another session, I can pull that picture back up and they might want to make a different art picture. They might want to we could take it to the sand tray and they might want to make a sand tray using those hearts. They might want to add into and make another hearts of string, but like they forgot, who did I put on my last strings of heart? So it's a way you can kind of, it's a way to, as a therapist, you don't have to way of remembering what they put on their heart, so you have it stored in a secure space in your however you secure your photos. It's a fun activity.
Quick question for you, Sabra. You talked a little bit about the benefits of this and how it can be used in the home and how it can be used like at school, and if they don't have it, what they can do. What would be something that you would tell a parent to kind of reinforce the learning and the connectivity of it at home?
Yes, definitely. So yeah, this would be a way where the family could where I would say, where would you like to put your string of hearts? Where would you like them to go? So maybe a child might say, I want them to go in the living room, or I want them to go on the refrigerator. And so I'd ask the parents, like, this could be something that maybe you could use as a way to check in, to see how your child's doing with the transition, with the missing. Maybe they might to check in and say, what was your friend? I see you have a heart of your teacher, Miss Smith. What is something that you and Miss Smith like? What is something about Miss Smith that you like? So it could give parents one. I would say it could be a way of some check-ins to see how they're doing, but it also could be a way to do some interaction, some conversation. Parents could get to see a little bit more about what their child may be thinking and feeling that they're not saying.
Awesome. Anything else, Sabra, about this activity?
No, I think it's great. I would say it's definitely usable as we are doing teleplay therapy. The book, you can find it on YouTube. Someone has done a read aloud of the book. I also would say too, you could do a read aloud of the book and then tape yourself and show it during your session. So that way you can have the video of the story being played, and gives you time to interact with your client, giving eye contact, noticing, instead of having to, because it's a little bit, trying to figure out how to hold the book while you're on the screen, unless you have it somewhere setting down in another. So I kind of figure out some easy ways for you as you're doing teletherapy. I think we have all the skills we need. We need to use them, and making sure, even if it's video or telephone, the most important thing is our therapeutic relationship with the client.
Oh, I completely agree. And I love that this book is also on YouTube. So you don't even have to buy the book. You can just go search it and be able to use it like right in session. And especially if you're doing telehealth, kids are going to be like all in it, like, oh my goodness. Yeah. And they're going to think that they're fancy because they get to watch something.
Right. Yes, definitely.
Awesome. So I know that you have some things coming up. You're doing a lot of different webinars, trainings, and things like that. So tell everyone what you have coming up, one, and how they can reach you.
Yeah. So I have, speaking of bibliotherapy, I have a really fun webinar on this Friday, May 8th, from 12:30 to 2:30 that I'll be doing. It's going to be using bibliotherapy and sand tray therapy. So bringing two loves together, and you'll learn how to create, using bibliotherapy, create different sand trays in some different unique ways. Not just using a book, but also using storytelling. As we know, storytelling has been around forever, where people get to share a story and create with that sand tray within the sand, creating a story using the miniatures and figures. So you'll learn I'll be sharing some definitely examples of trays that I've used and created using bibliotherapy.
Awesome. So their website is posted, and we'll put it in the chat as well. So it'll be easy just to click on. But can people register for your upcoming webinars from your website?
Yes. So if you go on my website, it's a one-stop shop. You can, if you click, it will take you, you'll see trainings. It will take you to the Eventbrite link where you can register for all of the webinars. If right now my webinars for 2 hours webinars are $25, my 3-hour webinars are $75. So I've decreased the price just because of the time that we're in. If you want to do a bundle, you can just send me a message on my website or reach out to me, and you can pay for more than one and save Eventbrite fees.
Awesome. So that is an activity from Increasing Your Play Therapy Toolbox. If you don't have one already, I have mine. If you don't have one already, you can definitely get one on Sabra's website, and the website is listed. Sabra, any closing thoughts before we end?
No, I just enjoy getting to hang out with you. That's always a joy, and just excited about sharing about this tool. I think this the ToolBox play therapy books that we created, I have gotten just so many people have just loved it. It's been something that they don't put it down. They really use it. They like the fact that there's a variety of different activities. And I think we really made it very accessible and easy for people to create these activities. So I just, again, say for you as a creator of this, it's amazing. I'm glad it's touching so many clinicians' lives. And we know that means it's touching so many children, teens, families' lives. So that's just amazing.
Awesome. If you guys have any questions, definitely put it in the chat so me and Sabra can come back and answer all of your questions. Again, I'm Carmen. I can be reached on all social media platforms at Pride LCSW. Sabra's information is down at the bottom. She's on Instagram and Facebook at Sabra Starnes. That's it. So definitely want to thank everyone that has tuned in. Again, if you have any questions, please let us know. We love to help people, especially getting a good understanding of these activities in the book. And just a sneak peek, a hint, be on the lookout for announcements for another book coming soon. And if you have any questions about that, you can definitely let me know. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Sabra, for taking time out of your day. Probably been on screen all day doing therapy. I know I have. And we're just in rough times. So thank you for taking time away from your family.
Yeah, no, this is nice.
To serve the community with, the Increasing Your Play Therapy Toolbox.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. It's great. Good to be here. It was great to be here.
Okay, thank you so much. And we'll see everybody soon.